Higher watts at a lower heart rate on the bike? Yes, please. Rightio. So do we have the mobility to be able to hit the key positions on the bike? Especially when we're in TT position, we need a lot of hip flexion and posterior chain mobility. But because we also spend so much time in the saddle, we get really tight hips. So we just want to see front to back how we're moving. First one is what we call a Thomas test. So we get Ellie to slide all the way to the edge of the bed so our butt's just touching. We hug one knee into our chest and then we lay back down on the bed. And what we're looking for here is when this leg is relaxed, where we get to. Is it hanging down? Is it really tight out? Or is our thigh not even breaking parallel? So all these different positions give us a better understanding around what muscles are tight and then what we need to improve. Because if we get Ellie up, if we then try to, let's say, run, and we can't extend our hip well, what ends up happening, if Ellie gets to here, our back starts to take too much load because we can't hit proper hip extension. Position number 2 is an active straight leg raise. Again, this is giving us insight into our ability to sit down in this position and get into that very aerodynamic, fast position that we want to get onto on the bike. So laying on our back on the bed, we want to go toes up towards the sky, keep the knees locked, and then just lift one leg at a time. And we want to have a look at a side-on view here so we can see what kind of angle we're hitting. We want to try and hit around 80 degrees. If we're down here, you can appreciate if that's the amount of range that we've got, we're going to really struggle going forward. So let's see, bang, compared to the other side, good. We're getting into a decent position here, something we definitely want to check off before we go for that more aggressive aero position. All right, so one of the key components of strength training for endurance sports is improving our maximal strength capacity. So if you think about it, if every time that we do an effort in our sport, we have a percentage of what we can maximally do. So let's say Ellie can only deadlift 30 kilos, and she does an effort that's worth 20 kilos, that's a big percentage of the total amount she can produce. Whereas if she now doubles that strength up to 60 kilos and it's still a 20 kilo effort, it goes from being like 60% to down to like 30% of what she can produce. So over time we conserve energy because we're more efficient at recruiting more. So you can think of it, we're giving her a 8-cylinder car versus the 4-cylinder car she was driving. So another key component of our lifting is the intent in which we do it. You want to have good explosive intent as we're lifting. That thought process of being powerful crosses over to recruiting more muscle mass. Even if the bars are not moving any quicker, we get a better adaptation of power and strength.